In this video, I'm going to tell you how I quit drinking cold turkey after drinking all of my adult life. Yep, like I said, I had drank pretty much my entire adult life, and there was a catalyst that made me stop. So you're in the right place. This is a channel for you if you are 35, 40, 45, and you're looking to make significant changes in your life to live your best life like I am right now. Right, first things first, here's what you need to know. I drank as a teenager, and then it continued on in the Marine Corps. Even when I didn't want to drink, I drank. Okay, I was even told by one of my very best friends, like in the world, that I'm more fun when I drink. So I used all the reasons I needed to drink. I wanted to fit in, I wanted to have fun, it was a coping mechanism, and drinking is drinking. I didn't care. I drove drunk zillions of times. I almost got a DUI during my officer commissioning program, and I talked the police officer out of it. I'll never forget that. But either way, drinking never brought me anything good. But would you be surprised if I told you this wasn't even about drinking? So let me tell you exactly what happened. If you looked at any of my other videos, I had got my MBA after I retired from the Marine Corps. I ended up at Amazon. I was completely miserable, and then I moved in with my in-laws. Okay, this was a really big deal. This was a big turning point for me. Well, that's when I started podcasting. I kind of felt like I found my calling. I wasn't jumping on the bandwagon. I knew I wanted to talk to people. I love to talk to people. And I'm like, this is a perfect mechanism for me to do it. I tried one podcast called the Bubble Wrap Podcast where I was unwrapping people, which still kind of applies to what I do now. And then I did this one called Flashpoint where I essentially was interviewing people, authors, business personnel on what the turning point in their life was, because Flashpoint is the temperature at which fuel ignites. So I thought it was really catchy and awesome. So I went, and my thing is I love to travel to people to do the podcast. I'm very over remote podcasting. I didn't like doing Zoom. If I could do it in person, that's exactly what I wanted to do. So I went to do a podcast in person with an author. And the night before, when I was visiting the city, I got freaking plastered. I didn't know I was going to get plastered. It just kind of happened. I was seeing some old friends. I got fucking shithoused by accident. Next thing I know, it's the next morning. I have a couple hours till the podcast, and I'm drunk. I go to the venue. I'm stuffing my face with all kinds of things because I was afraid I was going to be reeking, that it was going to be coming out of my pores, and that it was going to be smelled on my breath. So like I'm completely just not myself. Okay, so I took the risk and I ended up doing the podcast, and it actually went really, really freaking well. They loved it. I was like, oh my God, I was freaking completely relieved. But at that moment I decided like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And then I stopped. Now you need to know this. I've only gone without alcohol maximum in my life of about 180 days, and that was on a combat deployment. The previous time before that was about maybe 40 days getting ready before I got married. I wanted to try and lose some weight or whatever. But other than that, there was never a huge gap. So I stopped. And now it's been over 2 years. But here is how I did it. I just asked myself what mattered to me. It's kind of a shame, right? Like you think to yourself, how does my family not mean enough for me to stop drinking? How do the complaints from my wife not mean enough? How do all these close calls not literally make me wake up and, just give in or try to improve? Well, I didn't have any techniques. I didn't get a sponsor. I didn't go to any meetings. I just stopped. And the reason is I felt like I was finally supposed to be doing what I was doing. And I know that sounds awful. You think like, how is your family not enough? Like I keep thinking about it right now. But the deal is, podcasting in the future, I literally felt it inside. And the only reason that happened is if you look at the previous videos, because I quit an unfulfilling job, I moved in with my in-laws, I got some freaking clarity, and then I started tapping into my curiosities until I found exactly what it is I wanted to do. And I was doing it. And I was not about to fuck it up anymore. Again, this is not about alcohol. This is about knowing what you want and knowing what's in the way. Okay, I have nothing against people who drink. I actually was just in Vegas with some friends, and we were doing our annual fantasy football draft, and no one gave me a hard time. No one gave a shit. No one treated me different. No one gave a fuck. No one cared. That's because they must sense that number one, it's important to me if it's been this long, and number two, that I'm doing in my life what matters. And that is what I wanted to leave you with. Okay, once you figure it out, once you know what you're here to do, once you have put yourself in the driver's seat, like I mentioned in the in-laws episode, you stop messing around. You are able to start picking apart the pieces of your life that just bring no value. And for me, after, who knows, at least 25 years of drinking, it was a wrap. It's never too late. I have no idea if I'll ever drink again, but the fact that I've gone 2 years is beyond me. I never, ever thought I would have the willpower. I never thought I would have the willpower to ever be able to withstand not drinking for that long. Like, seriously. So that's one. Two is I put in the work. I put in the work to kind of identify what it is that I wanted and what it is that I didn't want in my life. What I really didn't want, what I didn't need. And it became binary. Does this move me closer to the goal or not? I've talked about that before, but does this move me closer to my goal or not? No, it doesn't. Now, having that in the bag, the not drinking anymore, which is one of the most powerful things on earth, the thing that had power over me, made it easier to do other things, like to start a business, to get out of debt. All these little things, it just kind of became less of an incredible challenge and totally doable. You will be surprised at what the hell you're capable of. And you will also be surprised at how much people will not care if you change your behavior for the better. The people that matter, it will never affect them. The people that don't matter are going to be the ones that somehow have an issue with it. And that's because they're fucking sucking shit themselves. Okay? The road and the path to becoming a better man or woman is always going to start with what you want. Doing the right thing for the right reasons. And I knew I was at peace with myself after that decision. And now once I had the little streak going on, I was like, wow, it's been 40 days. Once it's been 60 days, I was like, all right, well, why would I start now? And I've had funerals. I've had weddings to go to. I've had all kinds of different events where my willpower had to be tested. And you know what? It was easier than I thought. So let's wrap this thing up. If you're 35 or 40, 45, no one's going to tell you to walk away from that job. No one's going to physically pull you from that shitty relationship that you're in. No one's going to take the bottle out of your hand. No one is going to tell you what you need. Only you know what you need, and only you are going to be the one who's in control. The great news is, and I hope I'm proof, is that you can freaking grab the steering wheel and just be like, I'm going to do exactly what I want. And you're going to find that these things that seem insurmountable are actually extremely doable. And you are probably going to have some inspiration with the people around you. Now, what I want to tell you is this. Leave something in the comments if you've overcome something and it has transcended your life, no matter how big, no matter how small. Because although I'm trying to inspire you, I want other people to see that there's more of us out there. That it's never too late to freaking take control. And that you will and can live your best freaking life without some of the things you feel are requisites to having fun. Things change. People change. And if someone like me, who comes from a heavy drinking family on both sides, who comes from a heavy drinking culture in the Marine Corps, can stop and not even go to a meeting, that tells you it's all up here. It's all up here. There's more of this coming, so please consider subscribing if you haven't already. But think different, live different, and nothing will ever be the same.